Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. It is a new week. It is April 13th. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back with a new and incredible week of episodes. And I got a great guest waiting in the background. But before I bring her on, hit my music. Let's get it. All right, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. We're live here in Philadelphia, April 13th. So glad to be back with another incredible episode. And this is episode 339. So you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it's Apple, Spotify. We are also on BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com, the Roku channel, BS3 Network Roku channel, wherever you consume podcasts, we are there. And you can also follow me on all the social media platforms, most active on Instagram, at Get the Real Deal Twitter page, Facebook, Blue Sky, and TikTok. I'm on TikTok as well. So, all right, well, let me bring in my guest here. We connected on Instagram maybe a couple weeks ago. The algorithm of Instagram, that's how it is. You find interesting people, and then we connected, and here we are. Now we're about to do a great interview here, and so she could tell her story. Kennedy Rettew, custom shoe designer, featured in Sports Illustrated. NFL My Cleats is her my cause artist as well. She's been featured on Major League Baseball All-Star games, featured artist, a little bit of everything. So we're going to get into her story and her background and all that. So Kennedy, welcome to the show. Really appreciate it.
Hi, thanks for having me. We were
Yeah,
jamming.
thank you for you like the music. Yes. That music always that's the intro. It sets the tone. So I'm glad that you like that music. But Kennedy, thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Glad to have you on. I know we set this up last week, so here we are, and glad to, like I said, for you to tell your story. So thank you for accepting the invite.
Thanks for having me. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. All right. Well, let's get started. I always ask my first time guest on the show, who is Kennedy, and where did Kicks by Kenna begin, and just a little bit of your background.
Yeah. So Kicks by Kenna was actually a COVID project. Originally,
Mm-hmm.
I started it was 2020, right in the heat of COVID. I was on lockdown from school, and I believe it was July when I first started making shoes. So if you know anything about Arizona, it is very hot here in
Yeah.
July. I
Yeah.
actually started making shoes in my garage, which was a bad idea. I don't recommend that. I did my very first pair for my little brother, and my mom posted it on Facebook, and my surrounding community saw it, and they all wanted in. So I started making shoes for my neighbors and my friends, and from there it felt a little bit like a portfolio was coming along, so I had to
Yeah.
start Instagram. So on July 4th, 2020, I launched Kicks by Kenna on Instagram, and we kept snowballing it and working and doing more people, and word of mouth was getting out. And my first big client was Michaela Skinner from the 2021 Winter Olympics.
Mm.
And she got my name out a little bit. And then right after that, we did Simone Biles. And then from there, we started working for the NFL. And then it just blew up.
Wow. I mean, coming from off of COVID and being on lockdown and things like that, and you said, hey, got this idea. You said your mom launched it in a way and put it on Facebook, and as you said, 6 years later, here we are. So
Here we
that's amazing. I mean, and now
go.
you're full-time businesswoman, and you said creator and owner and all those things. How does that feel, juggling all that also in school and college as well? So how do you
Yeah.
juggle all those things?
Well, let me tell you, there was never a free second. Like driving somewhere to a meeting, to a pickup, drop off event, or I'm on a podcast, or
Yeah.
I'm asleep. That's the free moments. But it's all about time, like blocking out your time, making sure
Yeah.
you're consistent with routine and making sure that you take time for yourself too. That's very important.
Yes. Yes.
Very, very important. I'm learning that lesson the hard way, but it is very important. And just loving what you do is very important.
Yes, and it, like you said, it seemed like you definitely love what you're doing, and also you said balancing with school and things like that. So, okay, so you've been running the business for 6 years, and you said it's thriving. You say work with Simone Biles. I mean, you work with I mean, you say Simone Biles. That's a huge name
It
to work with, and working with Major League Baseball, the NFL, and things like that. We're gonna get into a little bit more of that, but talk about a little bit when you was working with like Simone Biles and other athletes, how that all came about.
Simone was really fun. I did have to pinch myself a few times because I was 17 years old working for an Olympian, which was crazy.
Right,
Super,
right.
super honored. Um, it's it's surreal. You don't really think that something like this will happen to you. In fact, I definitely didn't. I was not starting this because I wanted to be a business owner. I started it because I was young and artistic and wanted to have a creative outlet that was a little different than what maybe people imagine. But I'm so grateful in the way that it's kind of all been full circle and the support and the love. Because I mean, you have to remind yourself sometimes, like I have to tell myself all the time, like I paint shoes. Like that's a
Yeah,
crazy, crazy
right.
thing to have this. I feel like the whole world has rallied behind it. And it's just
Mm,
so grateful for the opportunities I get. Simone was a crazy one for me because I was a gymnast growing up. So I knew Simone Biles. I loved watching her in the Olympics. And seeing her and working alongside her and Michaela as well was a
yeah,
crazy,
Michaela. Yep.
crazy first project.
Wow. That for a first project, you working like said with Olympians and champions and all time greats, and then you're like, wow. And now, like I said, the business is thriving. Let's go back a little bit to you said to your sports background, and you said you gymnastics growing up. Any other sports that you did, and talk a little bit about your sports background.
I was a dancer. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
funny
Yeah.
enough, my sports background and the reason why I love doing sports like athletes didn't come until I was in business because
Mhm.
I have two brothers, but neither of them play sports. So I was the one that did gymnastics and dance. But like baseball, football, all these other athletes, it was kind of like I learned as I went, which was super fun as well. And to learn to love the sport. And obviously, we attend a lot of games to see the cleats in action. So it's been really fun and it's been a really special journey. If my family was into sports and we had to say we have a favorite sport, it would have to be F1. My family's crazy into cars.
Okay.
So the car world we were a huge part of before I even started. Even from when I was little, I remember my dad taking me to car shows when I was like 6 or 7 years old. So that is definitely where my original love for sports comes from.
Right, right. And it always starts somewhere. It's
It
usually
does.
family, just being around and learning and things like that. And then also they said you have a love for art for sure.
Yes.
Talk about that, where it comes from and where it leads to from today.
Yeah, so I feel like I mean, I've told this story before, but before I painted shoes, I really didn't paint. I was a doodler
Mm,
a little bit. I drew
okay.
my homework enough that my teachers got in trouble at school, but I wasn't per se like an absolute artist before I started painting shoes, but the creative and the love for expressing myself through creative outlets has been there since I was born. It's just it's evolved in a way, but that pure love of being an artsy girl has always been there, and it's just evolved into something that I can proudly call my business now.
Yes, it's a business. It's a business that's
It is.
thriving, for sure. So yeah, so let's get into Kicks by Kenna, and we said start. You said where it began and things like that, and where it is today. What is the process of when an athlete or someone in the industry comes to you or reaches out to you? What's your process like? What's the day to day of the process of when an athlete sends you a shoe, they want this type of design and everything. Talk about the process of
Yeah, so process, I'm lucky enough it's the same regardless of who reaches out to me
okay.
for in terms of design and that type of process. And funny enough, most people find me on Instagram.
Mm,
Instagram is our main outlet, and we used to reach out a lot to people, but now I would say that we're not reaching out a whole lot to these athletes anymore. They're coming from word of mouth, or they saw a pair that they loved from
Right.
us. But the process stays the same no matter who we're working with. So what we do is we have everyone send their shoes just so that they've tried them on, they love them, they love the style, the fit, all that. And then from there, what we'll do is we'll talk design. So I'll have them send a different either photos, logos, colors. If they don't know what they want and they just want a general vibe, I can work with that too.
Yeah.
And from there, we'll either, if they want a mock up, we can do that. A lot of people don't. They just trust the vision because it's usually pretty straightforward. And then from there, I'll paint them and then send them back.
Okay. All right. So like you said, it's just more now they're reaching out to you before you reached out to them.
Yes.
Talk about that difference of that. Like now you're like, hey, okay, athletes are now, you said, the Instagram, social media can, like you said, when it's used the correct way like this, it's
Mhm.
great to that athletes and other clients of yours are reaching out to you. That's got to be very rewarding, I'm sure.
It is. It's a huge blessing. And again, you pinch yourself. You're like, what the heck?
Mhm.
Here we are.
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's great. And social, as you said, social media is a tool, and I feel like it's the tool of the future. It's the everyone is in it, on it in a certain way, and even just it's a great resource, especially because when I was starting there, that was the resource. We weren't going out and marketing and doing things like that, especially since I was so young. I didn't even know how. But starting with Instagram was a huge tool, and just it truly is the way that it worked out.
Yeah. Again, social media, when used the right way and you're using that as a business, that's the outlet, the tool that people are
Mhm.
reaching out to you. And this is like how we connected. We connected right on Instagram. And
Yes,
it's
it
a
did.
yeah, it's a good way to with the like I said, the algorithm just it presents itself and then this is where we are today. So okay, so when you first see a pair of standard sneakers, and do
Yes.
you immediately see the final design or does it evolve as you work?
You know what's funny? That's been the part of me that's been consistent since I was
Okay.
little. See it before it's even there. And it's crazy. Even I do graphic design in school now. And
Right.
I was talking to my professor about this 2 days ago. He was like, wait, you see it before? And I'm like,
See the
yeah,
vision. Yeah.
I see it. It's all there. I can see it wrapped around it. And it's more so just getting the client to see what I'm seeing, and then we'll paint it.
Okay. I mean, that's a talent. That's a talent to have when you can see the final, like you said, you see a blank canvas, blank sneaker, and then you're like, I could see a vision of this. Now, do you put your input in when an athlete or someone reaches out to you? Now, do you put an input in, or do you like make suggestions like, hey, we can switch this color or we can switch this design? Do you have that when you have that relationship or that partnership with someone, do you also put your vision in it as well?
I feel like it does depend on the client for sure.
Okay.
Some people obviously know exactly what they want, and I feel like
Right.
me, even though this is my business and this is my job, I find it very important that I'm telling their story in a way that's authentic to them. So if they need input, I'm more than happy to suggest something. But a lot of people, more often than not, know what they're going for, or they have some sort of story or a reason or a foundation or an event that means something to them, and that's why they're doing this pair of shoes. And I feel like I'm very honored to even just be able to be the one that like puts two and two together for them. And that's the part that I love. And I feel like that's more where my creativity and my message of, we always say that we love to push kindness in everything that we do.
I like that.
That's what I'm about. And I get to do that every day with every pair, every meeting, every client. We get to spread a little bit of that Kicks by Kenna kindness.
I love that. And then that's the message of
Yeah.
this. As you said, yes, it's a business, but you're having fun. But you said Kicks with Kenna is all about kindness. And I really like that message. And in this day and age, in this world, we definitely need that for
Yes, we
sure.
do. For
Yeah,
sure.
so good, and that's a really great message and everything too. So as you said, you do Kicks by Kenna. What's your favorite sneaker? Put you on the spot there, like what or sneakers that even growing up, anything that sticks out, any favorite brands, shoe that you love to work with.
Well, I guess to work on would be Nikes, but funny enough, I am a crazy Converse girl. I love
Okay. Yeah.
Converse. I get all of them through my desk, but not many people ask me to paint Converse. I love high tops. I've had them since I was little. I think I have 4 pairs on my
Hmm.
like in my laundry room right now, but I love Converse. But more often than not, what I'm working with is Nikes, which is really fun because growing up I was really into Converse, so I'm getting a new outlook on what types of shoes people like. And it's been really cool to learn.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Yeah, Nike, we know that brand, and that's the biggest shoe company there is. So yeah, that's it's always good to when you have that Nike. So in your bio that you sent me, you said you've had the privilege of being the only female featured artist for the Major League Baseball for All Star Week. Talk
Mhm.
about that and how that made you feel being the first female that was a featured artist, and then you worked with many NFL clients at the age of 17, taught painting classes for NASCAR, and have worked closely with track president for 5 years, and interviewed by Sports Illustrated and ESPN and other news outlets. When that and let me stop there. And even done shoots for a U.S. president. Like, okay, let's break all those down. Like,
Break
talk
it
about
down.
talk about all those five events and 5 things that you've done, even starting at, like I said, the age of 16, 17 years old.
Mhm. Let me think chronologically. I guess in
Right.
that scope of things, the first
Yes.
thing out of all of those would be the president. I
Okay.
started I did the president when I was 17 years old, and it was just the craziest, again, just word of mouth reached him. And it's
Yeah.
crazy how just things come about. I call it my senior project because I finished it right as I graduated from high school. So it was a
Mm,
big blessing to be able to kind of do that and kind of bring on this new Kicks by Kenna and doing we were doing big clients from the beginning, and that's amazing. But it was so cool to be able to just do something that was so impactful. And I feel like even just to me, it was super impactful to know that like what I'm doing isn't insane and we're doing some good work and people
yeah.
love it. And I'm blessed in that way. I'm trying to think what came next. I guess next would probably be, let's see, we were talking about All Stars, President, the NASCAR. What was the
NASCAR.
other two?
It was NASCAR, the president, All Star, interviewed by Sports Illustrated, and ESPN, and other news outlets. So those, yep, those are the ones, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I guess the next thing that happened was All Stars, and that is something that was an insane, crazy opportunity. I was the only female featured artist in the All Stars. We did a big sneaker, um, kind of a exhibition, kind of explaining what we do as sneaker artists because it was an up and coming thing that not many people had seen yet. I
yeah,
did it 2023 in Seattle when it was in Seattle for the All Stars, and I did it. I was 19 years old. I was the only female in a panel of all men, and
wow,
it was crazy to even be selected for that. They put us in front of thousands of people demonstrating what we do to all these people, and they'd come up and ask us questions about what we do, how we do it, how we got started. And I was the only female featured artist there, and it was crazy to be selected for that. They'd done it years prior, but they had told me I was the only girl that they'd ever chosen up until this point.
Hmm.
And it was a huge honor to be able to be included in that, and just such a fun opportunity, and to be in Seattle and be in front of these people.
Yeah,
It was just the best opportunity. Um, and then all the interviews that came from that, I would say just ESPN, all these people, they came from these bigger events that we were doing and being out there and getting out there. The All Stars was a really big one, I will say. That one had a lot of coverage on it, but Sports Illustrated came much later, and just being featured in there for a lot of different things, especially the stuff we're talking about right now, was so much fun and so important to me to be able to spread this message that we're sharing of kindness, and be able to have it featured on such a large platform was the coolest thing ever.
yes, absolutely. And then, like you said, just all those events. There are so many blessings, as you said, and it just continues. It's amazing. And I seen on your page you do a lot, like for causes and things like that too. How important is that? You said just a day of kindness. That goes very far. But how important is the causes that you do, and provide and help when an athlete or someone asks you to, like I said, to design a shoe for a cause, and
Mhm.
talk about that, how important that is.
That is the foundation of what we do, I would say,
Yeah.
for
Oh,
sure.
yes.
Being able to help people. The first big one was actually Bradley Bozeman right after I started working. That was my first big NFL client, and it was for My Cleats, My Cause, which was super
Right.
cool to be able to tap into that at such a young age. And that's continued all the years I've done Kicks by Kenna. But most recently, and I love talking about this story and about how like this can impact so many people in so many ways.
Yes.
Is we just did a pair for Cam Scatabo for it was for My Cleats, My Cause right after he had moved to New York because he's a Sun Devil and I go to college with him, and it was super cool to be able to work with him because he was an Arizona native as well. And we ended up doing for Phoenix Children's Hospital. That was the cause he wanted to represent. And because he was local and I knew the people over at Phoenix Children's, we actually managed to get them in on the project, which was so special. And
Yeah.
they ended up sending him a letter talking about how much this means to him and that they were chosen for this project. And just the whole thing around it was so special. And to be able to be the one that got to paint those shoes was so important to me.
Yeah, it's very important. And you said, my cleats, my cause, and how it's like I said, it's such a to have the platform that you have and to be able to use it for those causes is rewarding. It's a blessing. It's all those things, and to see that you just like said the impact of it is it's amazing. It's amazing work, amazing what you do on that. So congratulations on that. To like I said, to have a platform to how important it is to spread the word of whatever the cause is. I think is important, no matter how. And you said it's an impact of. You said you design shoes for the athletes, but also can impact kids and impacts whatever the cause is. I think that's amazing.
That's my favorite part of what we do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I was going to ask that what's the favorite part, and I
There it is.
that was it. So it's amazing that you're able to do that, and like I said, have that platform for that. All right, I'm gonna move. I just got a few more before I let you go. I want to ask you about what has been the hardest part. As you said, being, like you said, started young at 16. What's the hardest part building your brand, and the most rewarding? And you kind of talk about kind of what the most rewarding, but like I know some of the hardest parts that continue of building a brand to and where you want to see it in the next 5, 6 or a couple years, we'll say.
I feel like it changes a lot too based on like what stage of
Mm,
life I'm in. I would say
yeah,
throughout the journey, probably the hardest thing is the sacrifice. I don't think a lot of people realize too when you are so young and you're building something, how much you give up in order to be able to do that. Like I
right.
was 16 and it was, I was painting instead of being at football games, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Like a lot of the things that I think people would normally want to do when they're younger. For me, it wasn't a sacrifice because I love what I do.
yep,
Love the impact. I had a feeling that this was going to be big. And so I had to you put your head down and you work for it. You work hard for it, but it is a sacrifice in a way. And it's a business, yes, but it's your whole life. You live, you breathe, you are the business. And that's a huge part of what I do nowadays, and just taking meetings, going places. I'm in college. I do have a lot of fun, but at
yeah.
the end of the day, on top of homework, it was always, oh, I have to paint. And that's
Mm,
a huge thing. But in the end, it's the most rewarding is that I get to do this. And I
yeah.
don't think of it as a burden in any way. It's a huge blessing.
Yes, very, very huge blessing, and that's another thing too. Just asking you about, other things, outside of, it being the designer, being a business owner, and everything too. What else? What else does Kennedy like to do?
Well, I told you about cars. We still
Cars, yes, the cars. Yep.
love cars. In fact, on Thursday, I'm leaving to Los Angeles because we're doing the Long Beach Grand Prix.
Ooh,
But
okay.
I think it's my 5th year. We volunteer and we help with the track management. So I love doing that. On top of that, I love swing dancing. I'm an Arizona
Mm.
girl. So, everyone here has a pair of boots and we like to go dance.
Go dancing.
We do
Yes.
that for sure. other than that, I'm your normal 22-year-old. I love hanging out with my friends. I like to hike. I have a dog. I love her to death. Outside of that, I would say I'm a pretty normal kid, just doing my thing.
Doing your thing. Yes, there's dancing, being, the car racing, and everything too. Hey, you're just doing your thing. And also you're getting ready to graduate from
Yes.
ASU in May. So definitely want to mention that. So
14.
that's coming up shortly in
Very
about
shortly.
a 1 month, less than a
Yes.
month. So how's the feeling? Like you said,
Oh,
getting ready for that
real
graduation.
weird. It's like you feel 4 years and you're like, wait, that was quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was hard because I was working full time doing this thing, but now that I'm done, I'm like,
Yeah.
mind blown.
Wow. Well, at least you get to, after you graduate, maybe, I guess, maybe a little break, kind of sit back. I know you still got to work.
I
But now, will
a
there
little
be a
bit.
break, vacation, something like that?
There is gonna be. In fact, we just booked San Diego for a week.
Okay. There it
So
is.
that was in the cards.
Take some time. Yeah, you
Well,
definitely need that. Then you get back into it as well. Couple, just like I said, just two more. And who are some of your favorite? What's been some of your favorite athletes? And you said Cam Scatterbu. Any other athletes, or clients? It's like a couple favorite ones that you worked with, and a couple. And name, you can name two or three that you would love to work
I yes, I'm trying to think because we've done so many. You have to think we did DeMar Hamlin right as he had his
with.
health problem. That was a
Yeah,
huge that impacted me very deeply. Bradley Bozeman, I talked about him. He's been incredible. He's retiring now, but I'm super happy for him. But he's been along with my journey for so long. I met him for the first time when he played the Cardinals.
yeah.
And at that point, I think we'd been working with each other for about 3 years. The impact goes so far, but he was incredible and his wife's incredible. And he's just such a great guy. And I mean, we've sent baby gifts when his kids were born. He's more family than he is a client, I would say.
Right.
My goodness, too many. Cam, I talked about him, just so many, and all of them are so different and so special.
Yeah, absolutely. And any dream collaborations that you would like to work
Taylor
with?
Swift,
If you could
Taylor
pick
Swift,
any celebrity or athlete to design a signature customer shoe, who would it be?
it would be Taylor Swift for me. I love her and who
Oh,
she stands for, and just girl power till the end.
yes. Yeah, okay. Yes. I mean, Taylor,
One
the
day.
the, the big the biggest star in entertainment.
Yes.
That for sure. Yeah, that would be, so Taylor, if you're listening,
You're listening.
if you're
Expect that
listening,
on Instagram.
shout out. Yes, yes, shout out for sure. All right. What is one pair of sneakers in your personal collection that you would never ever
That I would never paint.
paint over? Yes, or
Oh
design
my
on.
goodness. You know, I am funny and I love my plain shoes. I like to, it's funny for me because this is my job, but I
Yeah.
love my plain Converse. I love them. I actually just recently got the opportunity to do my first pair for myself, and they're actually ASU themed.
Oh, okay.
So much fun, and they were just Air Forces. But I feel like what's so special to me is the fact that I get to make them so much more than what they originally were. And I did this pair of Air Forces, and I actually blinged them. So I got some
Mm,
rhinestones, and I covered them.
okay.
And I like my bling, so I had to do them
Hey,
on my bad shoes.
it's got to pop, right? It's got to pop. Yeah, you got to add a little bit of bling, and it's got to pop. So for sure. All right. Well, who has played a most significant role in your journey? You talk about your parents, things like that. So as you say, your mom does the business side. So I met mom. So hi, mom again. And but who also has played a significant role into your journey?
I'd probably say in the end, the one who has played the biggest role in it is my mom. She's been
Okay.
there since day one. She's been the fire that's pushed this business to what it is. And she's the one that's always been there, reaching out, been by my side. She's been at every event, every photo shoot, every interview. She's always there. And she is the backbone of the business. I like to tell people that my mom does everything, I just paint.
Yes, you said you show up and yep, she does the business side. You say, okay, I paint. As long as I know what I'm doing, I got the design. I'm good.
Yep.
Yes, that's good. That's great. Great to hear. All right. Well, last one. This is the last one. If you can go back to the 16-year-old Kennedy, just starting her business, what is one piece of advice you would give her?
I would say keep going. It's
Mm.
going to get hard in some points, and you're going to learn a lot of things, and I would tell her to be true to who you are, no matter what. And that's true of who we are. I'm still the kid that was 16 years old who loved paint and loved people. That's never.
Okay. I love that. All right, we got a shout out here. Nathan Ramasandra from Nathan Sports Rush. He
Oh,
says
wow.
hello. Yeah, got chat here. If you got any questions for Kennedy before I let her go in a few minutes, let me know and everything. So thanks for tuning in as well. So Kennedy, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I really, really appreciate this. I'm glad to get to know you a little bit. You should share your story. I love what you're doing. Keep it up. I'm a fan. I'm gonna keep watching what you're doing. And you said the causes, all those things that you're doing is amazing. It's incredible. And congratulations on your upcoming graduation as
Thank you very
well. Yes, many blessings. And but last one is let everyone know they can follow you. They want to reach out to you. They want to follow your journey. All those things.
It's kicks_by_Kenna on Instagram, and I do everything through Instagram. We have a TikTok, but Instagram's the place.
Instagram is the place. I love Instagram too. So I mean I've met a lot of, including yourself, a lot of amazing people as well. And so we do got one question here. He says favorite moment. You kind of talked about that already. Favorite moment. Here's another one. What is it like to collect a lot of shoes?
What's funny is, I collect, but then they instantly go off my desk.
Yeah.
I have a huge, in fact, in front of me, you can't see it. It's 4 shelves packed with shoes, full of orders, and my house is full of shoes. I mean, I have a big family, so we've got a lot of shoes here, but a lot of them end up leaving because I'm painting them so fast. I say it
Yeah.
usually takes me about 2 weeks by the time I get that order to the time that they get it back. So
And there you go. I hope that answered your question. But Kennedy, thank you again. Really, really enjoyed this. It was a pleasure having you on. And again, follow Kennedy Kicks_by_Kenna Kenna. Follow
yes.
her, reach out, like, subscribe, all those things as well. Definitely do that. And yeah, it was amazing. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I loved it.
All right. Thank you. All right. Well, you enjoy. Have a good rest of the summer. You guys get warm weather all the time. So
Yes, we are.
yes, yes, yes. So enjoy the rest of the summer. And like I said, congratulations on your graduation and looking forward to seeing what's next for Kicks by Kenneth as well.
Well, thank you for having me. It was great. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. All right. You enjoy. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.